CHICKEN. Use the code CHICKEN in the shop.
Alright, so it's time for a little status update on the 3 Clash games. Guys, the chicken is here. I am your host here over on Clash with Chicken, and I'm covering mostly the 3 new games, and I wanted to take a second today and just kind of talk about, the state of Clash Quest Heroes Mini. I started this channel when they announced these games being brought out, and they still haven't brought any of them to you guys to a global setting just yet. Clash Mini is available to download in certain countries, but yeah, so let's start off with Clash Quest. Obviously, Clash Quest was killed, and I still have my setup here. I do apologize. I need to update all this stuff eventually, but I want to do that when I know what I'm going to be specifically covering more so on this channel. But so Clash Quest came out, it got killed. For whatever reason, I think the main problem being the same things that we complain about all the time, where there just wasn't enough depth and strategy in the game, which is also something I'm kind of seeing in Clash Mini. Although I would say Clash Mini probably has a bit more strategy and a bit less RNG in the mix of the real foundation and structure of how the game is played. It's essentially just an auto battler, like kind of a chess game. But I don't know. The issues I have with Clash Mini is it seems like they get the easy things wrong with that game. Like some of the UI, it's just confusing, and it looks pretty enough. I've seen lots of feedback on the graphics not looking great, but I typically see that feedback on every Supercell game before it comes out. Even when it does come out, like until it's, I don't know, just for whatever reason, that's just something people always complain about. I think the game looks fine. It looks kind of, it looks like accessible to anyone that's played a sort of Clash game, which is definitely a good thing that you want to have. But for the most part, I don't know. I just think it's missing something. It just doesn't have that, like, it factor that sucks you in and gets you addicted. And I don't know. It's like when you play a bunch of matches and you're doing really well, it doesn't seem to have that gut impact of, oh man, I crushed that guy, or I beat this player, like it does in Clash Royale. Like when you beat your friend, or in Boom Beach Warships, when you beat somebody you match up with, it gives you that really good feeling of, I did something to, it's too much uncontrolled action, I find, in the game. Now, it very well still might go global, I don't know, but it seems like things have been getting quieter in terms of updates, news, different things in the game. It's also been in beta for so long now that I am definitely worried that Clash Mini is about to get killed. Typically what happens when these games get killed is we just don't really hear anything for a bit, and then the community starts to get mad, which they are right now. The last season got postponed, I believe, which is never a good sign. No, I don't want to doom and gloom and say, for all these reasons the game is dead. Like I said, very well might go global. I'm not, I'm just guessing. This is just speculation on my part. Now, I have been covering these types of games for a long time, but that's kind of my hunch. And I mean, they've been quick to kill everything else, so I don't know if, if I compare Clash Mini to Clash Quest specifically, I'm not looking at Clash Mini like, oh my god, this game is so much above and beyond what Clash Quest was. I believe Clash Quest could have been, equally as good or much better than Clash Mini with just a few updates. It did not get nearly as much dev time, it seemed or felt like. But yeah, so that brings us to Clash Heroes, the game that everybody's the most excited about. So, Clash Heroes, we've essentially heard nothing, okay? There's been a couple things. We did get confirmation that the game is at least not dead. If you can scroll back on the channel, I've talked about that in a few different videos, but there was one, it was about a frame who I guess is the CM for Clash Heroes. He was on a podcast and he was talking about Clash Heroes. It's not that it's not, being killed or they stopped working on it. It's just not at the forefront and it's not ready yet, but it's still, very much in the works. So we haven't seen a beta, which I think is good. I think it's good. I think it's better if they close these things off rather than having the open beta. Like, Clash Mini is, and it's like everybody can see, it's cool to see the progress of the game for sure. And like personally, I would prefer it to be open to play it, obviously, but I think for the sake of the game, it's probably a better idea to just keep it under wraps. And if you're not gonna make any news about a game for like 3+ years, maybe don't announce it yet. That seems, I don't know. Like, it's a cool announcement for sure, but it just leaves people being like, instead of being excited when they see the next news, instead they're like, oh, finally I get to see something about this game, waiting forever. Or the even worse opinion of like, that took so long I don't care anymore. I moved on to something else. So I don't know. I still have high hopes for Clash Heroes. I do want to base this channel around that game if we ever do get some good news on it. But I wanted to go through these comments here on Reddit. So this is the most recent post I could find about Clash Heroes. And it's just people, I never explained why I had the screen pulled up. This thread is just, they're talking about games. And probably should have read this before pulling it up, but that's basically what I wanted to say. Behind someone's desk, along with Clan Wars rework, Starlo. Okay, that's not really an insightful comment. Data show that 0.01% of the people don't like Clash Heroes, so they removed it. Fellow data. Okay, that's people complaining about Drew. They're still under development, a very slow development. It's in a very early stage of development. They realized that they showed it too early, and then they decided to keep developing it. But I guess they really want the game to succeed, so it won't go to waste if it doesn't make it to global, since it's, correct me if I'm wrong, first time Supercell is using an open source engine, that engine being Unreal. So yeah, I would agree with that comment. It took us a while to scroll to find something worth talking about there, but yeah. Now probably UE5, which extends the time needed to learn the ins and outs. So yeah, I think that makes sense. It's their first... It's their first kind of strike at a new game like this, a different style of game based in the Clash universe, which is why everybody's so excited for it. So, we're still waiting to hear some official news, but don't worry, I will keep you guys informed. Everything about this game, I like to make a little kind of update video every now and then whenever there's some news or something, but I haven't made a video on, these 3 games in a while, so I just wanted to touch base. Just, show you where everything is at. Unfortunately, again, no news really, but that's where we're at with everything. So if you guys want to stay up to date on these games, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to use that code chicken in the shop. We'll catch the next one, guys. Chicken out. Back.